Hey, everybody, welcome to the America Guns and Freedom podcast with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. As always, this is just an open chat. You can set the topics, you ask the questions, I'll do my best to answer them. But remember, I'm not the only one that can answer questions. If I don't know the answer, maybe someone in the live chat does. So pay attention to the live chat, participate in the live chat, build some camaraderie. You can ignore me completely if you like. I won't be offended. As always, I like to start the chat by reading people who have ordered merch. We only have one order today. And that person was Doug Elby. Elby, is that Ellaby? Ellaby. And he got the Godzilla Political Reform shirt. So thanks to him for purchasing and supporting TYMP. That being said, let's make sure we got nothing coming in question-wise over here. We don't. Let me get over to the super chats via PayPal. Remember, if you want to get entries into the Silver Bullet giveaway or the Double Super Secret Stock giveaway, 1022 giveaway, you got to do that through the PayPal link. Can't do it through YouTube because they steal all the money. All right, let's get over here and see if there's any questions coming in. I don't really see any. Let's see. John Heasley chimed in and said, I think it's fixed, so I can't win anymore. If you had the choice between the SDR or the Ruger LC carbine 10 millimeter, which would you choose? The SDR. You mean the little? What's kind of a apples and oranges? What am I looking for? Am I looking for a little revolver or am I looking for a carbine? You can't answer that question as a direct comparison. Because it wouldn't matter which one was better gun. It'd matter what I was looking for. If I was looking for a small revolver, it'd be the SDR. If I was looking for a carbine, it'd be the Ruger LC carbine. So those two don't really, it's not like apples, orange. It's not like you're saying if you were buying a small revolver, would you get X or Y? That's a direct comparison. Which would I choose in that category? But when you're saying, that's like saying, well, what would you buy? 5 gallons of paint or 2 buckets of screws? Well, what am I doing? Am I screwing things together or am I painting something? I'd have to know. And then if you said, well, you're painting something, would you buy Sherman-Williams paint or would you buy, some other brand of paint? That's more of a question I can answer side by side, but that I can't answer that side by side because in any way that would tell anybody anything about those two products, because like I said, it would really depend on what I was looking for. Like right now, if it was just me and I'd choose one of these, probably get the Ruger carbine because I'd be more looking for something as a trunk gun rifle. I'd like to have something in 10 millimeter because right now I got 9 millimeter. I'd like to have 10 millimeter. So yeah, get your questions in order. Make them more logical. And no, it ain't fixed. If you win, I'll be upset, but it ain't fixed. I ain't got the time or the effort. I ain't got the energy right now to fix anything. Hail Phil, I am curious if you need a Brave for your British. I use tape. That makes no sense to me. Does that make sense to anybody? Did I miss something? I'm going to read it again just so people can tell me if this makes any sense. Hail Phil, I am curious if you need a Brave for your British. I use tape. I don't know what that means. Is he taping back his junk? Is that what he's meaning? I don't know what he's talking about. Well, Sean Bain, you got one on me there. I can't answer that. Mainly because I don't understand what it is. Dale Rickety chimed in here. Let's hope it makes sense to me. Hello, Yankee. Say hello to Phil for me. He seems nice if you treat him well. He is. He's relatively nice. He's pretty benign. I mean, he's a little chitty chatty, and he talks way too much about scallops, sea mollusks. He's way into that, and I'm not that into that. So a lot of the time, I'm just nodding and going, yeah, I'm sure they're delicious. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not really. I don't even like scallops. Don't say like, I don't really eat scallops. Calamari is pretty good. No, God, don't do that. Don't make that mistake. You end up with your car wrapped around a telephone pole. Johnny Mandrick chimed in and said, why are cats better than dogs? Well, again, this is one of those questions that don't make a lot of sense, because at what? That's the point. Well, and also you could say, why are dogs better than cats? Because they're better than each other at different things. Like, you got a mouse problem, dogs aren't going to be that much help. Cats would be. If you want a pet that, doesn't need constant care and you can go away for a day, as long as you put out food and water, cats are better. If you want someone who helps you, keep burglars out of your yard and how, well, dogs are better. Or if someone to protect you from bunnies, that seems to be Turnip's main goal, is to protect us from bunnies. So it would matter. It would depend on what you're looking at why they're better. They're both awesome. I love cats and dogs. I'm a cat person and a dog person. You do not have to choose. No matter what Baby Billy on the Righteous Gemstone says, you can be both. I am both. I love cats. I love dogs. Let's see where we're at here. That was Johnny Mandrick. Christian Carlson weighed in. Oh, remember, we will give away a knife tonight, too. I'm trying to get rid of all these, the little tufts. I'm using these to just as an extra giveaway for people who are getting entered into the stock drawing. If you get an entry into the stock drawing, you're also entered into the drawing at the end of the night. Let me go ahead and get this started, so I can just put the name down once it comes. I've got all the people listed over here. I'm doing really good at keeping track of who I've given them to. I don't have any nights that aren't accounted for. Well, June 7th, we didn't do a drawing, but I wrote it down that we didn't do a drawing. But tonight we will do a drawing for the little cold steel tough. These were donated by Daniel Pent. Gave me a bunch of knives to give away. And I still need to hear from, who was it? Was it Welper that won the knife? I need to know which knife he wants. Does he want the Spartan? Does he want the AD-10 Light? Does he want the SR1? Or would he prefer a fixed blade? I got a lot of fixed blades you can choose from, too. There's a real nice Tanto fixed blade. I should bring those out and show them tomorrow. But I need to know what he wants. I don't think he's let me know yet. And Martin Nwagwin, he's never claimed any of his prizes. Like I said, I'm going to spend the money on candy and hookers. And once again, no, the hookers don't get none of the candy. I'm not spending it on candy for hookers, candy and hookers. I'll probably spend most of it on candy and then a little bit on hooker, probably not more than one. Well, it depends on how cheap they are. Probably get a couple cheap ones. And I'm just going to make him watch me eat the candy. So if he wants to be supporting that kind of thing, he better just keep doing what he's doing. I've lost my train of thought. I don't know what we're talking about. Did I ever read this from Christian Carlson? I don't know if I did. At 44 in Ruger Super Blackhawk or EAA 44, everything in stainless, or maybe a Rossi 44 with 24-inch barrel, so I can cross into Canada. Why do you want to go Canada? There ain't nothing up in Canada that you want. Trust me. I mean, it's nice up in Victoria and stuff like that. I won't say it ain't nice. It's very nice. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And if Trump gets his way and we get Canada, I would move up there. Although I don't want all Canada. Let's just take the western seaboard. That's about all I want of Canada. And I'm not saying we just take it. We'll give them fair trade. We'll give them the Dakotas. And what else is up at the top up there? Michigan and stuff. They can have that. What's the one right next to Michigan? It's not the Dakotas right away. What is it? Is it Missouri? No, it's not Missouri. But they can have the Dakotas. They can have them both. They can have North Carolina if they want it. I don't know how we get it up there, but North Carolina ain't got a whole lot to offer. I like South Carolina, but North Carolina doesn't got a lot to offer, I don't think. There are some states I'd be willing to trade off. Like taker states that don't make us, that we have to give some of them to Mexico. Well, like just Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. Well, that will all be part of Mexico. We'll name it back to the Gulf of Mexico, and we'll just make those satellite states of Mexico. And we'll take the nice southern portion of Mexico, the western portion of Mexico, the northwestern parts where they've got some really nice vacation areas. We'll take that in exchange because they'll make money from tourism. And we'll give them the Alabama and Mississippi. They can have them. Actually, I'd rather give them Kentucky and Mississippi. Alabama at least has Marshall and Space Flight Center and stuff like that. Redstone. All right, where was I at? I don't think I was. Oh, that was him talking about which guns he wanted. Well, like I said, you should not get with Gummy Wuzzle. I don't support such behavior. John Heasley. I want a knife and a stock. Well, I ain't giving the stock away yet. It's going to be a little bit. It's still, the entries are still open till the 20th. So hopefully I'll have it done in a few days and be able to show it to somebody. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get to it. I've been so burnt out over the last few days. I ain't got much of anything done. Ain't got much done. Who was it said that? Oh, it's John Heasley. Go figure. He's very needy. He needs to win. Very competitive. Can't he just be easy and laid back like me? I'm calm, cool as a cucumber. Not at all prone to fits of rage or anything. Not so much now that I'm older. When I was younger, I had a really hot temper. Had a hot temper and a lot to prove, so it wasn't a good combination. And I had very little tolerance for anything I didn't like. Like if you said something I didn't like, I had no problem with saying, don't say that around me or I'm going to punch you in the face. And then I would punch you in the face. Sometimes I wouldn't even have to wait till you said it again. If I just didn't like the way you looked at me when I said, don't say that around me, I'd punch you in the face. I was mean when I was young. Wasn't always the sweet, kindly old grandpa kind of character that I am now. I was hot-tempered, prone to violence, and morally okay with harming people, which is why I've got to do as much good as I can in my life now to make up for all that, just in case there is karma, just in case there is a heaven. I'm not going to do like that accepting Jesus Christ or any of that stuff because I'm like, well, you're not going to fucking bribe me to get into heaven or tell me how to act. And the only way I'm acting that way is because I got being bribed to. If you're the kind of God that would say, well, look, he did a lot of bad things, but he made up for it. Well, then I'm fine with it. Okay, that's good. But if you're trying to be a jerk about it, I'm not interested. I would be very, like my grandfather always told me, he would just rather believe there's not a God. Because if there is, he'd have a lot to answer for. So I kind of feel the same way. But what was I saying? Oh, Paul Bidenbach here says, Hail Phil, do you recommend a revolver over a semi-auto as a first carry weapon? Yes, but I recommend a revolver over a semi-auto for your second or your third or your fourth or your 50th carry weapon. They're just better. I recommend them every time over semi-autos. So you didn't have to add that as a first carry. No, it's just, do you recommend revolvers over semi-autos? Yes, every time. So you could have shortened that, saved yourself some time typing there. Christopher Ramos, 545x39. He just said Punva, PMV, but in his case, it stands for Pterosaur and Velociraptor. Paying his child support on him. We adopted him. He's paid his child support. He hasn't paid it for a while. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm not sure I'm going to let the kid see him. Well, he doesn't come see him anyway. He's a deadbeat dino dad. Do not let him sweet talk you. He will not take care of him. Johnny Mandrick chimed in here and said, what are they going to do with Quebec? Well, who cares what they do with Quebec? burn Quebec to the ground for all I care. I've been there twice and I hated it both times. It was also very cold when I was there. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of Quebec. I don't think it has a lot to offer that I'm interested in. So they can keep Quebec. They can keep it. I just want like Victoria, Vancouver, BC. Vancouver, BC is a big port town, so we want that. It's got a really nice downtown. It's very touristy. So it will bring in some money, just like the western side of Mexico, like all down through the Puerto Vallarta and Puerto Nuevo or whatever it's called, Nuevo Vallarta, and all those places. We'll get those, and we'll give them Mississippi and Kentucky, Arkansas. They can have Arkansas. That would really help us out. Although I was going through today and I was like, what states would we get rid of to save us the most money on our budget? Like if we decide tomorrow, like, hey, a couple states got to go because they're taker states and they're just not, pulling their weight, and they got to go. Well, of course, Kentucky, West Virginia, Mississippi, Arkansas, they're all in there. But surprisingly, one of the ones you would have to choose if you wanted to save money, purely on money, it'd be Texas. Texas gets back about $1,500 per person more than they pay into the government because such a high percentage of their population lives in poverty and is on government assistance. So Texas would have to go if we're just looking at numbers. The largest employer is Walmart. So yeah, they'd have to go. They would be gone. But yeah, I don't care what they do with Quebec. They can burn Quebec to the ground. I will be fine with that. Do not care. John Heasley chimed in again here. He's trying to get more interest. He's being, I want to win. Are you wanting to win the stock or just the stock? Remember, not giving away the whole 1022, even though that's what I ordered. Whatever happens to the rest of the gun, I don't care. But the stock is what I'm actually doing. Where was I at? I think that was it for the super chats over here. We got one over here coming in. Jacoby says, good master. What? Good master. I don't know what that means. What should I do to become a creeper of the night? If you had to trust a 22 against any kind of defense, what would it be against? I'm not sure I understand that question. If I had to trust a 22 against any kind of defense, like someone's defending and I'm trying to overcome their defense, I don't know. What are you saying? And as far as being a creeper of the night, that's between you and your probation officer. I don't know nothing about that. I suggest you go talk to your minister or something about that desire. But I don't understand a lot of that question. If I had to trust a 22 against any kind of defense, what would it be against? He didn't even say, like, if you had to trust a 22, what 22 would it be? I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. What is it with people wanting to confuse me with questions? It doesn't make sense. Someone just said, let Texas go and keep West Virginia. Well, I can be convinced to do that because I'm from West Virginia. I'd like not have to go through customs to go back home if I ever did. I haven't been back home in a while and have no real desire to, but I'd rather bring my family here when I see them or go to where my niece lives in North Carolina. I'd rather go down to South Carolina. We'd all meet in Myrtle Beach. That would be more fun. I should just get some hotel rooms at Myrtle Beach. We'd all go down there. That'd be a lot more fun. I loved Myrtle Beach when I was a kid. It still has some very nice memories for me. I love the atmosphere, the feel, just the whole mood of it. I just loved Myrtle Beach. Some of the best memories of my life. So I like Myrtle Beach. So I'd be okay with keeping West Virginia and getting rid of Texas. It would not bother me. I think that's it. We're caught up here on super chats. I don't know if I have any. Well, I had some emails that had questions. Let me see what we got here. Charles Shanice said Saul Tom. Oh, wait, that's a different one. I think that came in yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. Edgar Cortez says, beside carrying a revolver, are you aware of any evidence-based treatment for striker-fired phobia? Well, yeah, they're just more dangerous. You just look at every police department and everything when they first adopted striker fired guns. There's a big learning curve. They are more dangerous. Where's the other one? Oh, someone sent a picture of their old sticker. Wanted to show how it held up through the winter and the summer. They got the Acorn Lives Matter sticker on the back of their car, and there you go. You can still see it. Yay. Acorn. Boy, he put that on there crooked, didn't he? Oh, how are you living with that? You either have to choose here. You have to choose to follow the bottom line of the trim or the glass right here, or the line on the defroster. You don't just run up and slap it on like a drunken orangutan, which is what it looks like you did. Did you pay a drunk orangutan to put that on there for you? I think, what line are you following? That can't even be the line of the ground. I mean, like he was like, well, I'm following the horizon. No, that ain't the horizon. Yeah, I don't see. That's not good. It's holding up good, but that's bothering me. Why did you do that? Don't do that. You need to get another one and put it on right. What is with these people? A 13-year-old boy in King County, Washington, was arrested for illegal possession of a firearm 5 times before he got more than a 30-day sentence in a detention facility. Did he ever commit a crime with the guns, or just was in possession? And what was it? Was it like a rifle? He walking around with a rifle or something? I walked around with a rifle all the time when I was that age. What's a good holster for a big person? Same thing, same holsters that would be good for a small person. Because they match to the gun, not the person. But yeah, whatever holster you want to carry and how you want to carry it. Let's do a car chat. Let's talk about CNG conversions. I haven't done a car chat in a while. Any night people can ask car questions. They just don't. Well, every once in a while we get a car related question, but I'm all for talking about cars. I like cars. I think everybody knows that. I've been thinking about what would my next car be right now. And I don't know. I really like my Subaru, my WRX. I'm loving it. In fact, I'm almost considering getting the next car being the Subaru WRX TS. I have the TR, and I promised it to Caden. Once I have it paid off, which would take 2 years, he can have it. And then I'll get me something else. I've already had it almost a year now. So that's not a long time, a year, to think about what you're going to get. And I don't know. What would I get? I think about maybe the Ranger Raptor. Those are pretty cool, little Ranger Raptors. I'd like to go test drive one of those. But then again, I'm like, that's not going to be as much fun on the windy roads and stuff as the Subaru. And it's also an automatic, and I really like my stick shift. And I'm like, well, what stick shifts are offered in all-wheel drive? Well, they stopped offering the Volkswagen Type R. You can't get that anymore, the Golf R, in a stick. It's in a AMT or DVT, whatever they want, AMT, the automatic manual transmissions. You have to shift with the paddles. I mean, it still is a manual transmission. The transmission that hooks to your motor is a manual transmission, but there's a second mechanism on there that shifts the gears for you based on, your speed, your RPM, etc. Or you can do it with your paddles. So it's not exactly like having an automatic, but it's not having a stick shift either. So they quit doing that. So that kind of takes the Golf R out of the picture. I really like the Civic Type Rs, but they're front wheel drive. They're not all wheel drive. Just not a lot of stick shift all wheel drive still available in my price range. So I don't know what I'll get next. Maybe have to go to a automatic and get something, like I said, like the Ranger Raptor, which is very cool. It's got 410 horsepower and supposedly has a really nice suspension for, if you want to go beach riding or whatever. And it's pretty good on the road too. So I don't know. I don't know what I would get though. Type R and go to front wheel drive, or Type R Civic, go to front wheel drive. Get the Golf R and just deal with the paddle shifters. Get the Ranger Raptor and get something totally different. get the TS and just have the same car, except it basically have an adjustable suspension. That's really the only difference. And I could get it in purple because they offer pop purple now, so I could have a Prince car finally. Or do I want to go back and get wait until the Challenger 6-packs come out? Or hell, get the Challenger electric. They're offering deals on those so fucking cheap. Leasing them now, you can get the RT for like $400 a month. If you want to get the Scat Pack, it's like $700 a month. Cheap as hell for leasing those cars. Get a 3-year lease for next to nothing. Thing is, I don't like 3-year leases because am I going to be able to drive a car 3 years? Now I'm getting to where I'm old. I'm afraid I'm not going to be getting new cars all the time, and I don't make as much money as I used to. So it doesn't make as much sense now. But, since COVID killed some of my businesses. But yeah, I don't know what car I'll get next. Although I just wasted a lot of time talking about that, didn't I? Thoughts on the protest curfew in LA, 8 to 6 for the next few days. As long as they're letting them protest during the day, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the curfew for the protest. I'm like, okay, you can protest, but these are the hours you can protest in, as long as they're good hours, viable. You can actually got time to show up, do something. After dark, there's a lot of concerns, safety and theft and violence and stuff. So I can understand where there's a little something different going on late, but I think I'm okay with a curfew. I'd have to think through it a little more, but I think I'm okay with it, especially if it's temporary. But I don't know. I'll have to think about that. As I'm saying that, I'm like, who are they to tell me when I can and can't protest? But I'm torn. Since on the topic of carry, opinion on smaller back carry, don't do it. It was the most comfortable way for me. I had it about 5 to 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock's not bad. 5 o'clock's not bad, but that's not smaller back. Smaller back is 6 o'clock. 4 o'clock is no problem at all. Fine. You got muscle there. At worst, you're hitting your hip bone. You should be all right. But at 6 o'clock, you're right on your spine, and you got a big chunk of metal right on your spine. You fall down. It's like someone hitting you with a hammer right on your vertebrae. That's crippled a lot of people. There's a lot of cops that are on permanent disability because they fell down and they had their backup gun small back. That's why a lot of agencies don't allow you to have your radio, your cuffs, your gun, or anything at the 6 o'clock position anymore because they got tired of paying out disability on it. So no small of back carry. In Washington State, a minor can only be held for a maximum of 30 days in a local facility for each of their first 4 convictions of illegally possessing a firearm. That's too lenient. Really? Huh? What were they obviously didn't commit a crime with it. They just possessed it. If they committed a crime with it, it would be a different crime they'd be charged with. But just possession, like, a 13-year-old that goes out with his 22 and shoots, targets and stuff. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't think it should be a crime at all. When Biden said the American people don't have the means to overthrow the government, Maxine Waters was fine with it. Now she says Trump has all the guns. Well, I think that's something the politicians on the left should start. That's something they should start saying. They're like, people on the right got all the guns. People on the left buy some guns. I'd get behind them. I'd be like, Maxine Waters finally said something smart. Arm yourself. Because eventually the right and the left aren't going to fight each other. They're going to end up having to join together and realize that, hey, you weren't my enemy all along. We may disagree on some certain things politically, but we're not the diametrically opposed opposites that they want to portray us as, just because we disagree on things like abortion and things like that. We're still Americans, and our biggest enemy is the corporations that have taken over our government. And so I think that they should be armed. We should spur that on. I just want a new gun, said John Heasley. Well, go get a new gun. What's the best holster for? I answered that already. Am I back to the... Are you thinking of Wisconsin being next to Michigan? Yeah, maybe. Might be Wisconsin. I'd have to look at the map. Geography was never my strong point. I mean, I used to be able to name all the states and stuff because you had to be able to in junior high school. But yeah, there's some states that if you ask me to sit down right now and name all 50 states, I might miss a couple. Because there's some of them that I'm like, should they really still be a state? Like Rhode Island, should that really be a state still? Maine, should that really be a state? Do we need a North and a South Carolina? Do we need a North and a South Dakota? I mean, there's like 15 people in each one of them. And a lot of the middle states, do we really need them to be separate states? You should have to have at least 1 million people to be a state. If you don't have 1 million people, you have to join with the state next to you. You become a new state. Or maybe 2 million, I would even say. But you'd have to have at least 1 million. If you don't got 1 million people, you can't be a state. What states have less than 1 million people? Are there any? States with less than 1 million people. Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Alaska, Delaware, Montana, Rhode Island, Maine, and New Hampshire. Well, yeah, should they be allowed to be states? I don't know if they should be allowed to be states. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot of them here. South Dakota's only got 900,000. North Dakota's 796,000. Alaska, 700,000. DC only had, well, they're not a state. Vermont, only 640,000. Wyoming, 587,000. And these are protectorates, Guam and American Samoa, and they don't count. But yeah, there's just a whole lot of them here that should not be states. Got to have at least 1 million people, or you lose your statehood. And if you want to stay in that state and don't want to join with another one, well, you get to stay. You just don't get to vote or nothing until you join a state that's got more people. Let Texas go. I already read that. In stock, the stock. That's why it's always funny when Texans talk about seceding from the U.S. and becoming its own country. Oh, yeah, they wouldn't last a week. Their poverty levels are so high, they'd have to raise their own personal taxes inside their state, and then all the rich people would leave. If they start saying, hey, sorry, rich people, hey, we know we've given you a free ride for years, but you got to start paying 20% of your income so that we can stay a state, stay a country, or whatever if they seceded. Well, all the rich people will be like, yeah, I think I'm moving back to the state I moved out of to stop paying 10% state taxes there. So they'll move back there because they're like, it's nicer there anyway. So I'm moving back there. So they wouldn't last very long. And plus, a lot of the stuff like their cattle deals and their oil deals, we basically just give it away to countries as gifts to get special favors. They don't, and everything that the trade and stuff they make, they're not going to sell their oil on the open market because they would have to sell it for way more than Russia and Saudi Arabia. Nobody'd buy it unless they were trying to gain favor with the U.S. And if that was not the case anymore, nobody'd buy it. So, yes, they would not make it on their own as a state. I don't need no mountain people. Mountain people are the best people. I'm mountain people. You ain't even my real dad. Well, I never claimed to be. Somebody should go buy that shirt. I do that shirt now. You ain't even my real dad, and I'm a grown-ass man. I don't know hardly anybody's bought them. Like I said, I don't think anybody's bought this. Nobody let me know they have this shirt. I don't think anybody's ever bought this shirt. I like this shirt. Same thing with I think the Kel-Tec, the one that says Kel-Tecs don't have a break-in period. They just break period. I think someone bought that. I think so, one of those. But no one bought this one. I meant, what was the smallest animal that you would trust a 22 to handling before the animal's too big? Oh, a large mouse, small rabbit, something like that. 22 will kill a person too, but I wouldn't want to have to count on it. Although I ain't shooting no animals unless they try to shoot me first, and I don't think that's going to happen. What would you have for your last meal? Oh, last meal? I don't know. I'd probably want some fried unicorn until they get it to me. They ain't out of luck. So I want some braised unicorn, some cornbread and a garden elf salad, so I'm going to want some pretty rare things. Let me make sure I'm caught up on all the super chats over here because I have not looked in a while. Last one was John Heasley. It still is. John Heasley was the last one. Nothing new over here. So let's keep going here. Your Arsenal advisor. Wait, someone's telling someone to use at the Yankee Mar. How did you get your attitude adjusted in a defining moment? My attitude has never been adjusted, really. It just got old. I think getting married was a big thing because I'm always constantly being told, calm down. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Don't work yourself up. It's not a big deal. I got told that today because I was mad at Caden because I told him 10 minutes before we left, I said, you leave now, get down, check your car in. That way, by the time I'm following you and I get there, you've checked it in, we're ready to go. I get down there to the car lot and I look in my rearview mirror. He's behind me. I had to stop and get a car. I'm like, and I was, Dad, calm down. Not a big deal. Like, now I got to sit here and wait while he checks the car in. I didn't want to have to do that. I'm short on time. Well, it doesn't really matter. The gun shop doesn't open till 11, so we got time. I'm like, yeah, but I want to get to McDonald's before they stop serving breakfast, which is 10:30. So you gave yourself a half an hour more time than you actually have. And there's a reason I told you to do it the way I said do it. But I was like, it's not a big deal. Calm down. Even if we didn't get to eat at McDonald's, not the biggest deal. And it's not, but I will get upset sometimes. But I never really had a big attitude adjustment. I got away with most of the things I've done in my life. So I was pretty good. I was devious and smart. Someone I know just had an ND called and asked how to patch bullet hole. Was practicing with snap caps, forgot to put the snap caps back in. Yeah, that's not smart. A Florida woman ate a Dollar General. Wait, what? A Florida woman at a Dollar General, not ate, at a Dollar General pulled a gun on a customer who video recorded her shoplifting. We all have to be careful recording crimes. Yeah, it's a lot of mind your own business is good for most people. Unless someone else's life's in danger, mind your own business. Someone's physical safety is in danger. Okay. Child's in danger. Yeah. Otherwise, probably best mind your business, especially if you're not law enforcement. There's a lot of guys right now that, thought they had the right to restrain someone, zip tie somebody's hands even. I've seen that happen before because I caught them shoplifting. And then they're like, well, why am I being put in a squad car? Why am I being arrested for kidnapping? Because you don't really have the right to do that. Especially when they haven't been charged with a crime, and especially if the store says, yeah, we're not prosecuting, yeah, you're probably going to go to jail. I think I did. What? Huh? Think you did what? It's sad when your chat has to compete with live broadcasts of the Democrats rioting LA, Chicago, and New York City. I don't pay attention to those because most of that's over exaggerated. Don't pay a lot of attention to the news coverage of that stuff. They'll show you the same thing 50 times to make you think it's happening in 50 places. I saw plenty of footage from California today where people are just going about their business. So same thing in Seattle. They made it sound like Seattle was burning to the ground. There was like a 1-block area where stuff was going on. Same thing here. Like a lot of times they'll try to portray Portland by showing something happening at the park blocks. Well, I'm like, nobody goes to the park blocks. Everybody knows that's worst part of town and they stay away from there. You can still go downtown and be fine. Just don't go to the park blocks. And that's only when something's going on. But they've been watching the news. You would have thought Portland was burning to the ground. It wasn't. You would have thought Seattle was burning to the ground. It wasn't even close. He doesn't drive as fast as you. That's a good thing. He drives every bit as fast as me. He stopped and got coffee. I did not put stop and get coffee in his mission statement. Do you use a watermelon cube cutter or a regular kitchen knife. I use a kitchen knife. I just cut it into quarters, and then I slice those down the middle, and then I cut them into triangles, and then shoot them out. I just use a kitchen knife. Don't need no fancy cuber. Just cut them into triangles. E Honda sent you a message. Still blocked on the YouTube, man. I don't think he is. Remember, we checked once. I don't think he's blocked on my YouTube. I mean, I'll look again, but I don't think he is. But that looks like that was the last of the questions. And are we out? Oh, we're way out of time. Why didn't people tell me we were out of time? Well, we got through all the live chat because I went way over. That's good. Let me make sure I got all the super chats answered. I'll sign off here. We'll do a drawing for the knife. So thanks to everybody for coming today. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who provided us topics to talk about. Thanks to everybody who donated to help pets and vets. Everything y'all do for the channel is appreciated. I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Till then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Before we go, I just want to take a second to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We don't take a penny from advertisers, retailers. We don't take money from political organizations. There's no one telling me what I need to tell you. Everything that we do is done through the generosity of our viewers, either buying merchandise or becoming a patron or a Subscribe Star member. You're all the ones that support Pets and Vets and TYMPP. And that's the reason I can stay true to myself and loyal only to the people who watch my channel. And I can spend my time talking about what I want to talk about, telling what I think needs to be said, and giving you my uncensored take on things I think you need to hear. So if you'd like to help keep things that way, please support the channel by becoming a patron, a Subscribe Star supporter, or just going over to my web store and buying some merch. The links are all in the upper corner of this video.